Today's episode contains material that might be too difficult to discuss. This is a trigger warning. Viewer discretion is advised. With that being said, it is a beautiful story, and I thank my guest so much for being so vulnerable and sharing her story. A beautiful story, a courageous story that shows, and she shares so much strength. We do want to warn you that there is a little bit of abuse mentioned along with suicide attempt, but again, beautiful ending, a lot of strength, a lot of courage, and again, thanks to my guest for being so vulnerable. Hello and welcome to the Beet Goes On podcast. Today I have a very special guest. We just went through a whole whirlwind together. Her name is Sabrina, and I'll let her introduce herself and her business.
Hi everyone, my name's Sabrina Madsen. I own Savannah Cirque and First City Fitness. It is a personal training pole and aerial studio. And yes, we just finished up Dancing with the Stars, and what an amazing experience.
I mean, it really was an amazing experience. I said how I just really wanted to have her on because I'd seen her outside of the JW. You used to perform out there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Like I just have never seen pole dancing in such a beautiful form outside with families surrounded. You know, usually it's associated with a strip club, which is still beautiful in my opinion. I've been to strip clubs. I actually find them very beautiful.
Yes, we do support all sex workers.
Yes, we do.
We'll make that very clear.
But, you know, as far as like being relatable to something that I could do for a fundraising event that is family friendly, I didn't realize that until I saw you outside of the JW Marriott, how beautiful this performance can be in a whole different setting.
Yes, definitely. It can be very beautiful, classy, and family friendly. There's no reason it cannot be. Mm-hmm. And really the first time bringing that information to this town specifically was the JW Marriott, and performing every weekend outside where families and kids could walk by, and anyone who saw me immediately had a whole new perspective on what pole dancing can bring as far as entertainment, the grace, elegance, class. Yep.
I guess what I did was I asked you to be my partner. I think originally I asked about the silks. Mm-hmm. And then we were like, well, you said, I think you should do pole. It's easier. And so I said, okay. So then I told everyone, I was like, I'm doing pole. And I just loved their response because of what they were expecting and what I knew to be true after seeing you at the JW. So I really enjoyed that shock value with saying I'm doing pole dancing for this conservative event. It's black tie, 10 competitors, huge Savannah event. I think we almost had 1,000 people. You know, there were over 900 people at the event.
Yeah, it was at capacity. So yeah, just really the opportunity to educate everyone in the different avenues of pole dancing and what it can provide. So yeah, I was totally on board with educating. That's a lot of people we got to educate with one number.
And we did. I mean, imagine 900 people screaming. Now 180 or 160 of them were our people. It was crazy.
It was a huge crowd.
Yes, it was insane.
And the energy was electric.
The energy was people. So crazy. I mean, it was crazy, crazy cool. And then Sweet Ray won, and he's just a little doll. He really was so cute. His video was so touching, and everyone worked their butt off that agreed to do this. This is, you know, it's themed Dancing with the Stars, but it's a fundraiser first, and the goal was to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association, and we damn sure did.
Yeah, a huge success, win across the board. Obviously, there's a winner of who raised the most money, which Manu won that, and Ray won the judges' scores.
Yes.
But to us, that didn't even matter because we blew the goal out of the water. More than doubled it. We had a fabulous time. We really soaked in that shining moment of what all that hard work led to, and seeing you shine.
It was so fun.
Like I said to the judges, I said, what Michelle has done, like seeing this routine in 5 months, not having any dance experience or pole dance experience is phenomenal. And I'll say it again. I'll say those same
I'm proud
words.
of myself.
And
Humble brag. I'm very proud of myself.
And I know the judges and the audience members, like, unless you've taken pole classes, you don't truly understand how hard it can be and like how impressive what you've done in 5 months is. You were taking multiple privates a week, multiple classes a week. That's why not only did you learn the pole dancing and the pole tricks, but you had to learn dance choreography that we meshed with
and
the
really
pole.
2 different types, like hip hop mixed with, I don't know, what other genre of me spinning around.
I would say very like lyrical.
I have a whole new mad respect for the whole thing. Everything that goes behind it is just insane.
The whole package. I mean, you've got...
These people work hard. The coordinators, the people on the board, the community that comes together, everyone to get there, the money donated during the event. I mean, granted, there's a lot of booze involved, so people are really throwing cash out there. I was really worried about some of my friends going bankrupt to try to help us win because I was seeing their names and the amounts. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, why would they give that much? You know, and obviously they won, and it's for a good cause, and they were rooting for us and wanted to support us, and it was so fun. Well, let me take a break, and when we get back, I want to talk a little more about Sabrina's background and her business, because through this whole journey, I really did learn a lot about her and have such respect for her, and I just feel so honored that I could call her a friend now and continue this workout and continue this journey with her. She's super special to me. She's been great for me. So we'll be back.
Summer is finally here and everyone wants that perfect tan. But why put your skin at risk of sun damage and aging when you can get a gorgeous glow the safe way with Beet Tan? Our organic formula derived from beets gives you a flawless and natural looking tan without any harsh chemicals or UV exposure. Plus, it's fun and easy. And if you want to join the Beet Tan team, we're hiring. We're looking for spray tan technicians and administrative help. Submit your resume to hello@beettan.com and join our fun and exciting team. Have a safe and fabulous summer with Beet Tan. Let's get glowing. Visit us today at beettan.com.
And we're back. So now I left saying that, she has been such an inspiration to me, and I'm so happy that I've got to get to know her through this whole journey together. But I really want to talk about you and the origin of where did the idea for this business start? And you can talk about whatever you want. We want to know about you.
Well, I was a gymnast my entire childhood, all the way through college, and even my story about getting a full-ride gymnastics scholarship is pretty cool, so might save that story for another time.
Yes, we're definitely having Sabrina back on. She's amazing.
Long story short, I am a terminal cancer survivor, and then I was just determined to do college gymnastics, so I went to working at the gymnastics gym. I would coach 4 days a week and clean the gym for 12 hours on the weekend so that I could train 2 days a week. Then I got a full-ride gymnastics scholarship, and then what brought me to Savannah actually was I had married Army man who got stationed at Fort Stewart, and I, being the young new military wife, I knew nothing, nor did he promise things he could promise.
Right.
What he promised he couldn't really promise. So
right.
I ended up
one of those situations.
Well, and it's just like you don't know any better, and you kind of learn these things as a new Army wife. So I had learned that he was just going to be deployed over and over again, and because he was part of the 3rd ID, and this was back in 2004 when we got married. So he got deployed right away. And so it became one of those situations where if I finished my gymnastics career, we wouldn't live together for like 4 years, something like that. So I decided to leave my college scholarship.
That must have been so hard.
Early. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I left I might tear up actually. Sorry.
I understand.
So I gave up my dream for this belief in like the rest of my life. You know, I was like, okay, what's a year and a half if this is like the rest of my life?
Right.
So I came to Savannah to live with him in between deployments. The really hard part is that became a very abusive situation. So not only was I struggling with the depression of leaving my dream, but then trying to navigate this abusive relationship all the way across the country away from my family. And I was so ashamed with the abuse. There was verbal, emotional, mental abuse, but there was also sexual abuse. And that was so hard because I had been raised Mormon, and I truly believed that if I saved myself for marriage, then everything would kind of work out, you know. Call me naive, you know, but
no, but I feel like I
was young, and that's how I was raised, and that's what I believed in. And then I found myself in this situation where there was really not one time was there full consent in the marriage. And so I could talk about, you know, how important consent versus full consent is, you know, and trusting someone, you know, that you love to not abuse you like that. So long story short, we got divorced. Then I didn't know what to do. I was battling major depression. He had given me PTSD with his abuse when he came, you know, back from Iraq. We got divorced on his R&R of his second deployment. And then I kind of just went into survival mode until I kind of, you know, snapped, and then I went home. And from that moment forward, I couldn't like sleep. Like I didn't get any REM sleep.
Like you're desperately trying to get out of the situation. It was like one more fuck you.
And so we'd signed the papers,
and you want to kill this person.
And he used the religion as like, you know, you can't have sex with someone outside of marriage, so you might as well enjoy it. And I mean, that last time was the worst. I was crying. I was begging for him to stop. I was trying to fight back. And I'm strong, but like I can't overpower an Army infantry band. So I stuck around to get my degree from Armstrong. So I kind of stuck it out to like walk and graduate with my bachelor's degree. And then a couple months after that, I went home. And that's when I really like kind of like crashed from it all. And which is a whole nother story.
Whole nother podcast.
We could talk about that. I'm a suicide attempt survivor as well.
So she just to recap, Sabrina is so strong as a teenager, survived cancer, then had this terrible abusive man that she was married to who did terrible things and survived that, and then survived obviously after all of this trauma at such a young age, 2 different things, young adult and then young teenager, then survives.
So I eventually hit rock bottom. I hadn't had REM sleep for 15 months, and I was done. So I had attempted suicide, which honestly should have worked. I'm very blessed that it didn't all go according to what I originally planned, and was actually, my dad had a very like spiritual, you know, could feel my spirit fighting while I was on life support in the hospital. So that's, you know, we could go through that whole story as well. I mean, pick the topic. It's near and dear to my heart because I've probably survived it and lived it. So once I finally got the help I needed with like sleep meds, like it was crazy. Horse tranquilizers couldn't even get me to sleep. I was so like in just fight or flight mode. So we finally found a combination of meds that got me to sleep, kept me to sleep. And that was kind of the first step of my healing journey. So I call those my dark days. It was a good day if I showered, could go coach gymnastics for 4 hours and eat one meal. So that was like a good day.
Yeah.
Of course, there were some days I just didn't want to get out of bed.
Understandably.
But at least I was sleeping, and the sleep meds it'd like start to make me drowsy, and then I'd be either sleeping for a good 8-9 hours / being drowsy for about 12. There was about 12 that I was like not really functional, but at least I was like sleeping, and that was the first step. And then there was countless therapy, counseling, books, family support.
Right.
I mean, you name it, all the things to just one day after another, continue on the healing journey. So then I got to the point where I was like, okay, now what? Like, it's not my darkest days, but what does my future hold? What do I want to do? Should I do something with my degree? And so I applied to PT school because I had a pre-PT degree from Armstrong. Didn't get in my first go around, which is very normal.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. I have several friends that went a different route because they're like, screw this, I can't get it's too
2 or 3 attempts it usually takes to get into PT school. So I didn't get in my first time, which is not abnormal at all. And so I thought maybe I'll try, maybe I'll do, like, what else could I do with my degree, and maybe try this again later. So I was like, maybe personal training, because I could work with, all sorts of people. I could work with athletes. I could help people get stronger. So I really kind of like gravitated toward helping people after I had fallen so low and trying to navigate.
Which is such a healing thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I healed as I helped other people.
People out there in the world, you need to know this. A part of healing is helping.
Yes. I mean, when you are depressed, getting up and serving someone else will help you feel better.
How brave and courageous was it for you to realize that helping people would help you? I mean, that's a really hard place to climb out of and get to that place.
I didn't even know how to navigate it. And when I moved back home, I was trying to like tell my parents, I was like, I just don't like sleep well. And it wasn't until we had gone on like a camping trip, and for 2 nights in a row, because right before I'd get to REM sleep, I'd have a night terror and I'd wake up screaming.
So sad.
And that first night we were all sleeping in the tent, and my dad had reached over, grabbed the shotgun, put a like he bullet in the barrel. He thought someone was in there, and like was over me in like a matter of seconds. Like, he thought someone was physically in the tent harming me. And then realizing like I was having a night terror, but that was like his reaction, like because there's 6 girls in my family. I'm the oldest of 6 girls. So you can imagine how protective Daddy is. I mean, he grabbed that shotgun and loaded one in the barrel before. It was like a reflex. And then he realized I was just
having a nightmare.
And it was like a night terror. That's how like intense they were. Oh. And it happened the next night. And it happened the next night, and that's when.
So you were having these every
single night, and that's why I would never get any REM sleep. And like, you're not supposed to survive without REM sleep.
It's so impressive how you came out on the other side of all this.
Well, when I got a second chance,
darkness, it's just such light. You literally have like a light coming out of you.
2, I mean, you could say I've cheated death twice easily, and that second time, even though I was in a very dark place, as I climbed out of it, I don't want anyone to feel as low as I felt. I want to be the person that gives someone that hope they need to like hang on and do another day. Like, I know how it feels to feel hopeless. So if I can give someone that little bit of hope that makes a difference between, sometimes it's life or death, then I just wanted to do something good with my second, third chance at life. I mean, I didn't want to waste that. So
I get to take, and you do that for people. You did it for me. I see it in the eyes of the young girls that are in there. I'm talking about little, taking the silk classes. You see it, you feel the energy in there. I feel like I'm going in and fighting. Everyone's got a light around them, and it's because it's coming from you and spilling over. There really is that energy in there. And then just to add to that, owning a business is hard. So to take all of this, and that's why I say this to my Beat 10 gals all the time, that passion is more important than the bank account to me. Like, that's what.
I didn't start a business because I want to be rich or wealthy. I am very aware that
purpose.
There's no millionaire aerial gym owners. No, is the goal to build a good life for myself, right. And make it better than anything I've had, every year. Sure.
Yes.
But I'm driven. My whole goal in getting up every day is how many people can I bring joy to? How many people can I help in a day? How many classes can my business offer at one time? How many people can I get in there? Mm-hmm. How many people are remembering their self-worth when they come in? They're improving their self-esteem. How many people are feeling empowered every day? How many lives am I improving? My senior citizen clients who are retired, mm-hmm. they come to me consistently, and it's the difference between when they misstep and fall and bruise a hip versus, mm-hmm. Break bones and need surgery. Like, it's keeping them living life to the fullest. I mean, that is what I wake up and do. And so to kind of lead into that, I was like, well, maybe I'll do personal training. I've got the knowledge for that. Mm-hmm. So I studied for that test to get certified. Mm-hmm. And while I was doing that, I found a pole dancing studio in Salt Lake. So I started taking classes there. And it was the first thing that had challenged me mm-hmm. physically since gymnastics.
Since gymnastics. And I'm telling you, it's the whole, and you use all kinds of muscles.
It was like the spark mm-hmm. that reignited. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, a challenge. I mean, I've mm-hmm. always been challenged with gymnastics. So I kind of didn't know what to do mm-hmm. once gymnastics was over. Like I mentioned, trying to redefine myself and figure out what I want to do. So as I started taking pole classes, this was during my dark days. It helped me mm-hmm. each day. I got a little bit better. So then in March of 2010, mm-hmm. I moved back to Savannah, and I picked up the 2 jobs I had before, teaching fitness classes at Armstrong and coaching gymnastics. So I picked up both those part-time jobs. Mm-hmm. And then I looked up places like personal training studios, and I found one that had personal training and pole. And I was like, that's the one, mm-hmm. because I want to teach pole too. I want to do to others what pole has done for me.
Yeah.
And so in 2010, that right upstairs where you first took your pole
that's where I took my class,
was another studio, just a different owner.
Yeah.
And she did personal training and pole. Mm-hmm. And so when she moved away in 2013, I just signed a lease with that space and put in my own equipment and put in a couple, different types of poles. I've been teaching pole, and mm-hmm. we did parties and personal training, and I was
you can book parties there. I've been there before and after these parties that come through. So she'll do bachelorette parties, and they'll come in, or any party really. It's a fun thing to do with your friends. She has several poles.
Kids circus parties. Mm-hmm. We do. Bachelorettes are very, popular. They learn a whole little mini routine while they're doing their pole party.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun time.
You can hear it. They're having so much fun. They're having a blast.
You've seen a lot of the parties over the last 5 months. Because I've been doing
the private classes in the other part of the studio, and it's like, they're having so much fun. And she's like, point your toes, Michelle. And I'm like, I'm going to go with those guys. So, so we have come a long way. I do need to cut it off, but we are going to have Sabrina on. We have so much more to talk about. She is such an impressive human. everything that she said here on the podcast today, I've personally been impacted and affected by it. It really helped me through some hard times. At the same time that I'm taking this, I'm doing a leadership program and I'm talking to 2 different psychologists and a life coach, and the things that they were teaching me. And every time I would go back and talk to one of them, they were like, we're so glad this is so good for you. This is so good for your psyche. This is so good. Like, I'm so glad that you're doing this. We advise people to take challenges and physically challenge themselves all the time and give back to their community. They're like, you're our star student, is what they kept telling me, because it's the teachings that I learned.
Transformed as a
really
person.
did.
You are the example of what pole can do. Like, it's not just pole work, it's soul work. You are stronger physically, emotionally, mentally. You have more self-esteem. You feel empowered. And when you feel empowered, you go out and you do greater things. And it's just the ripple effect, right?
It really was. And that crowd screaming was exact. Those were all my friends who saw that transformation. There were tears rolling out of people's eyes because of the transformation. And, someone at the thing said, people laugh about pole. We never heard anyone laugh. I saw tears of joy and excitement, and they saw my transformation. And, you and your establishment were very much a part of that. And I will forever be grateful. And I will forever consider you a very important part of my life. I feel like I shed some old shitty skin and I'm shining. In fact, one night, I don't know if I told you this, I actually think it's the universe, God thing. I could cry saying this. I rolled over and it was just one of those rough nights, and I rolled over on my phone, I guess. I don't know, and my phone was playing this song, She Can't Help But Shine, and just the words of it. And that's really how I felt like I just had lost my shine prior to that, the year before coming into specifically the 3 months before me taking the class, I had just been beaten down a lot. And I really felt like I got my shine back. And then somehow this song at like 3:00 in the morning, and I just sat there and cried and smiled because I really had accomplished so much in your gym and your studio, and with in other ways I was helping myself, but that's why my friends teared up at that performance. There was so much more.
There always is. There's a transformation goes so deep.
Yeah.
And I was just the catalyst for your transformation, right?
And I'm so lucky that I have
you
people
trusted
like
me
you
with
in my
the
life.
process, and it was the catalyst for everything else to continue to transform and shine. And as I've shared, I know what it's like to have no shine left, to have no worth left, to just be a shell of a person, and then to climb out of that. And for you to say, I have a light around me now, that 13 years ago, that wasn't the case, so I know what it's like to lose your shine, and you definitely have your shine back. So you should be very proud of yourself.
I am very proud of myself. And just a last note, what I get from, and I always like to say what I get from someone on this podcast. I mean, you all have a light inside of you, no matter what you're going through. Sabrina is a living proof of that. Her light shined on me, and now I can shine on others, and we both have that same passion and common ground. And if you're going through something bad, you don't have to take a pole classes, but that, for me, that was where I found a lot of my inner strength, physically, obviously, but it was very much mental too. You can shine, you do have it, and it may seem impossible, but you can't hear a story like Sabrina's and not know that that it's there.
Well, and that's why I wanted to expand the business to include aerial and all the apparatus that come with different aerials. So if pole's not your thing, if weightlifting's not your thing, now I have silks or lyra or trapeze or hammock or handstands. There's so many different things that my business offers, which means I can reach that many more people.
Right.
And so hopefully we have something that you want to try, and it will change your life forever.
And tell people how to find you on social media.
Yeah, you can follow us on Savannah Cirque. We have a Facebook and Instagram. Also, I have an original Facebook and Instagram with First City Fitness. It started just with the personal training and pole, and then I rebranded and expanded as Savannah Cirque, which is the whole facility. You'll see downstairs, brand new pole room, all the aerial equipment, the silks, hammock, trapeze, lyra, which is the hoop. We have handstands, we have flexibility classes, just so many fun ways to be challenged and get exercise.
It's so fun.
And it
And
will
it's so
change.
rewarding.
It will change your life because it will change you.
Yes, I'm living proof. So she. Well, thank you guys. Please find her. If you have any questions, we'll have all of her information in the caption or the bio, or whatever platform you're finding us on. But thank you so much for being here. I
You're
adore
so
you.
welcome. Thank you guys.